Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So as we do on every Ekadashi, for those of you who are new, so every Ekadashi we read from Srila Prabhupada's biography, that is Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. So today also we will continue that. On this Ekadashi also we will read from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita, and this is the special edition of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. As sometimes you have seen on Back to Godhead, sometimes special edition comes out, Ganesh special, Balram special, Nityananda special, right? Or Mayapur TOVP special. So this is also Visheshank, special edition of Lilamrita, focusing on the Juhu pastimes of Srila Prabhupada, called I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu story, by Srila Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Yeah. So we will continue reading from this book, and if required in between somewhere maybe little bit we'll discuss, otherwise we'll continue reading. So we are reading from this book, page number 108, 109 rather. The chapter name is Arriving on the Scene, a Good Fight. This is better. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayham Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Pashata Deshta Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we are very fortunate to be sitting in this very auspicious place, Radha Rasa Bihari's abode. Yesterday only I was listening one class by Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada was telling that July 1975 on verse 6.1.11. Very nice class. Very, very nice class. Srila Prabhupada was telling that any activity for Krishna when you do, and the place wherever you do that activity for Krishna, that place immediately becomes transcendental. That place becomes spiritual. So this is a divine abode. Srila Prabhupada was telling that practical, that is Golok Vrindavan. When you are going to temple, you are going to spiritual world. When you are in the temple, ISKCON temple, then you are in the spiritual world. So our goal of human form of life is already achieved when we have come to temple, and if we just stay here. And then Srila Prabhupada was telling that now you have come here, just join and just be here. Don't go. So we are in this divine holy abode of Srila Prabhupada and Radha Rasa Bihari. So we will read about Srila Prabhupada's struggle, how he created this spiritual world in Bombay. Page 109. He also sent Bhavananda, but when they all came and saw the situation, the group became convinced that we, not Nair, had failed to meet the conditions for the sale, and thus could not yet file for specific execution. We wrote to Srila Prabhupada. Karandar arrived safely this morning. Tamal Krishna Goswami arrived yesterday, and Bhavananda also arrived from Calcutta yesterday. We all, including Giriraj, met this afternoon and discussed the situation. The first point brought out, and the most significant at present moment, is that we have not yet received approval from the Charity Commissioner for the transaction. In this regards, then, it is we and not Mr. Nair who have failed to execute the terms of sale. We cannot instigate any action to force Mr. Nair to make the conveyance until this is done. It was concluded that our mistake has been relying on Mr. Divanji and Mrs. Morarji to arrange for the Charity Commissioner's approval as they promised to do, rather than doing it ourselves. We have approached the Charity Commissioner and have been informed that the approval will take time, as there is some processing that has to be done. We plan to find out the person who is the superior of the Charity Commissioner. Brackets. Most likely the Chief Minister of Maharashtra. And appeal to him for expedition of the matter. Once we receive the approval from Charity Commissioner, we then can request Mr. Nair to execute the conveyance strictly according to the terms of the original agreement of sale without any concessions or changes. If he refuses or delays beyond 1 day after this, then we can begin the specific performances suit as Karandar and Your Divine Grace fully discussed. We are now going to seek out a reliable and competent lawyer for the legal consultation of the situation, and no more rely upon any big friends or whatever to do our business for us. So this was devotee's reply to Srila Prabhupada. With all the legal challenges we were facing, we wanted the best lawyers to represent us. So we approached Mr. R.C. Dhruva, secretary to the great industrialist, Seth R.D. Birla, the honorific Seth indicating his exalted status, to find out what solicitors the Birlas used, thinking they must be the best. Mr. Dhruva recommended the firm Mulla and Kraji, Blunt and Caro. And the next Monday, after informing Srila Prabhupada, we visited their offices and began working with them. We met with Mr. Vasantarao Nayak, the Chief Minister, and he promised to speak personally with the Charity Commissioner and see what he could do to expedite our matter. Even before receiving our letter, however, Prabhupada in Manila had written Tamal Krishna and me. We have so there are 11 points written by Srila Prabhupada. So these 11 points I will read. First, we have fulfilled all the conditions as purchaser. Second, Mr. Nair has purposefully delayed with the motive to cheat us, as he had done with some others in this connection. Third, but this time he cannot cheat us because we are in possession of the land and our deity Radha Krishna is installed there. Therefore, we must immediately go to the court for enforcing him to execute the conveyance immediately. Fifth, even the court case goes on for a long time. Still, our business there cannot be stopped. Sixth, without going to the court, we cannot make any compromise with him. Seventh, but I think we can arrange the full amount of 14 lakhs to get this rascal out of the scene. Eighth, but we cannot do it without going to the court, otherwise we shall become a party for breaking the purchase agreement. Therefore, we have to go to the court before making any compromise. Ninth, in the meantime, take definite information from the bank whether they can loan us 50% of the whole value. 10th, the whole value is 14 lakhs. We have already paid 2 lakhs. We can arrange to pay further 5 lakhs. That means we pay 7 lakhs. The bank may pay the balance 7 lakhs. 11th, actually the bank may not have to pay even 7 lakhs because according to the purchase agreement, the last payment of 4 lakhs has to be paid upon the decision on the court case pending about Chaganlal and company. So you have to act according to this program on the advice of suitable lawyers. So we can see from these points how expert is Srila Prabhupada. How expert, super expert, even in the legal matters. So that is what we offer in the prayers to the spiritual master. Sakshat dharitvena samasta shastra. No. Before that, what is that? Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhyai. Age? Yayali bhir yuktir apekshani. Tatrati daksha. Tatrati daksha. He is very daksha. So in one of the lectures, Srila Prabhupada gives the example of Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. How he was so daksha, so expert in dealing with that Muslim policeman who had captured him. How expertly he just impressed him. And that person started crying. So nicely, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami talked so expertly. And then he not only released Raghunath Das Goswami, but amicably settled the matter then after that. So Srila Prabhupada was telling, this is how a spiritual master is daksha in executing Krishna's mission. So here also we can see that how Srila Prabhupada is daksha in executing Krishna's mission, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. From Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada sent us several letters in quick succession. On October 19th, he wrote, "It appears the Charity Commissioner permission is delayed and not refused. It is not a very grand mistake, and we can chastise for that the lawyers. I have read the clause 11 in the original agreement for sale, and I do not find any mention of there being any 6-month time limit for obtaining the Charity Commissioner's approval. So there is only some delay, that's all. That will not be sufficient grounds for Nair to rescind the contract. Rather, our position is very strong, so long we are in possession and we have paid him the earnest money and more. So best thing is to consult Mullah and Mullah and proceed accordingly. Try to fix up some arrangement acceptable to Mr. Nair for paying him. But we shall not risk that we may lose everything to Chaganlal or some other victim of Mr. Nair's cheating dealings. So best thing is to follow the advice of Mullah and Mullah and stick to our position very securely." So this is, you can see that Srila Prabhupada is in where? Can somebody tell where is Srila Prabhupada? Ahmedabad? Okay, good guess. Because some of the transactions happened related to this matter from Ahmedabad. Just now we read Vrindavan, Manmohan Krishna Prabhu, right? So one Hari Bol for Manmohan Krishna Prabhu. Hari Bol. So see, here is written, from Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada sent us several letters. So we can see how a pure devotee of Krishna, he is not confused. When he goes to Vrindavan, he thinks that, oh, I should be just meditating on Krishna or just going to different places of Krishna's pastimes only and don't bother me. No, he knows that even in Vrindavan, executing the will of my spiritual master is more important than going to, Radha Kunda or going to Govardhana or anything, right? We can see Srila Sanatana Goswami, when Lord Madan Mohan told Sanatana Goswami that, my dear Gosai ji, you are just giving me sukhi roti, ka bati, not even roti. You are just giving me that bati, you know. In Rajasthan, still that bati is very famous. So you are giving just sukha bati to me. At least put some salt in that. So very humbly, Sanatana Goswami replied, "O Lord, I am busy executing the will of my spiritual master, even though I am in Vrindavan. So, and how will I get salt? From where do I get this salt? Later you will ask me for ghee and luchi puri. Then where will I get that from? So you please manage with this roti only, this bati only, sukha bati." And then the Lord very happily stayed there, right? So that the pure devotee does not miss out on this mood that wherever I am on this planet Earth, till I am in this body, the only and the most important function to do in my life is to execute the will of my spiritual master. And that is exactly what Srila Prabhupada is doing in Vrindavan. He's also sitting in Vrindavan. But so many letters he's writing because he's constantly contemplating here. That here is my mission of spiritual master. Although on another duty of my spiritual master, I may be in Vrindavan. But this is more important presently. So let me, sitting in Vrindavan, contemplate on the legal matters here. And letter after letter, Prabhupada is writing. You're constantly thinking. Like sometimes you have seen, send one SMS to somebody. And then we think, oh, I want to tell one more point. Then you write one more point. Then in the evening, again you remember while taking prasadam, one more point. And then after the prasadam, you read one more SMS you sent. Because whole day you're contemplating on that situation there, right? So like that Srila Prabhupada is doing. Right? In Vrindavan also. So very important to learn from Srila Prabhupada's lotus feet. Having given further thought to the matter, he wrote again, "Further to my letter of yesterday, I have thought the matter over thoroughly, and without any doubt, our position in the matter is very strong. Nair is bluffing. One of my god brothers, who is expert in these things, has advised me, and I also know it from experience, that once the agreement of sale is signed, that is final. And it will not be very easy. In fact, it will be impossible for Nair to defeat us in the courts if it comes to that." So we can see that Srila Prabhupada's experience and consulting other devotees or his god brothers, he is observing, studying the matter. How much our position is strong, how much his position is. Now the thing is that Nair has accepted from us 2 lakhs of rupees as follows. On February the 8th, 1972, check number GT/HS 306871 for rupees 50,000. On February 25th, 1972, check CHT/A-T492829 for rupees 50,000. And on March 28th, 1972, check number CHT/A-T492831 for rupees 1 lakh. Now, according to our arrangement, that last 1 lakh of rupees was not to be accepted by him until the conveyance was completed. So he has taken. That means he accepts that the conveyance has been completed. I hope you are able to understand here. Hare. So how Srila Prabhupada is so intelligent. So we can see that it requires mode of goodness. Of course, Srila Prabhupada is in pure goodness. But Srila Prabhupada surely is in goodness, and then he is in pure goodness also. So to be able to think on your toes, very peacefully, with poise, we should be in goodness. Then, whatever situation happens in our life, we will be able to give it a third person's look. Normally, when something comes in our life, tough or too much happiness, then we are bewildered. We are not able to decipher the situation properly and react balancedly. We get, but it requires goodness. And that goodness comes by morning program. When we do our morning program every day, every single day, from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock, properly, sincerely, attentively, meditatively, Then we develop the goodness to give a balanced outlook to life and to balance reaction to life situations. So we can see here, the devotees were bewildered, we have defaulted, not him, Srila Prabhupada. How can we file a case against him? Let us first push the charity commissioner to approve that document, and then we will file a case against him, वगैरह वगैरह. जय श्री राधा रस बिहारी ललिता विशाखा की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, श्री श्री सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान की जय, श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय, सर्वशिलास की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. So we can see so many devotees, they all met together in the afternoon, and still their conclusion was different. But here Srila Prabhupada, with all whatever Srila Prabhupada is, he is sitting and then he is finding out that actually not we, rather he is on the wrong side, because he has accepted that second 1 lakh rupees. That means he has accepted that the conveyance is executed. Now he should act further. So this is Srila Prabhupada again, so expert and so attentive to so alert to what is happening around and what is the situation happening. Are we really, so not acting in hurry or in haphazard? No, being very mindful what's going on. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Our position is very strong. Possession is 9/10 of the law. Why you should be afraid of him? We can satisfy any court of law. He has given us possession according to the terms of the agreement of sale, and we have paid him rupees 50,000 to take possession, and he has acknowledged receipt. That means the transaction is finished. Again, Srila Prabhupada is re-emphasizing his point. If I have something and I sell you and you give me the money and I give you that thing, the transaction is finished. Never mind, there is no receipt. So with Nair, our transaction is finished. We have paid him money, he has given us the possession, and we have agreed to terms of paying the rest of the money. That's all. He is simply planning tricks because there is no receipt, and he does not want to give us receipt. So simple, Srila Prabhupada is first explaining. So this was another difficulty Srila Prabhupada always used to face. Because many of the devotees Srila Prabhupada was dealing with, they were in 20s. Or at best, some of them in 30s. So somebody in 20s or 30s has practically no experience of the worldly transactions. So Srila Prabhupada would have to spend time convincing his own devotees that, okay, this is how so simple this matter is. Why you should be so worried and hopeless? So we can see that despite all odds, Srila Prabhupada kept fighting for Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's mission. So how much we owe to Srila Prabhupada? Take information from the bank when he took the money. 1 year from that time, according to the terms of the purchase agreement, we are supposed to pay further 2 lakhs. That is 1 year. That is 1 year from the execution of the conveyance. So we have paid rupees 50,000 as earnest money according to the agreement, and the agreement then states that we must pay rupees 1,50,000 rupees upon the execution of the conveyance. So he has accepted, that means the conveyance transaction is complete. He may give me receipt or not, that doesn't matter. It is a case of misappropriation. He did not deliver the goods. Once when I was in business, I took money from one man for an order of goods, and I was a bit late in delivering them. So he wanted to sue me in the court for misappropriation. So this is where Srila Prabhupada is giving example from his previous experience in life. So when we become devotees, we can use all our previous experiences and knowledge in serving Krishna better, right? It is the same thing. We have paid Nair, taken possession, and now he doesn't want to deliver the goods. According to the clauses 14 and 15 in the purchase agreement, it is our option to resign the contract within 6 months, not the vendor's. But he has accepted the check for rupees 1 lakh before 6 months. Therefore, we consider that he has completed the conveyance and we do not want to resign. But we shall close the deal immediately. Finished. That's all. He is trying to avoid this issue by tricks, and he has dominated you, and you are little afraid of him. How Srila Prabhupada is so intelligent to capture exactly the pulse of devotees. And he has fooled you to think he is in superior legal position so that you will give him some money. But this is cheating. We shall not give him any more money. Don't pay him any more. First of all, bring a criminal case against him. Make criminal case by consulting lawyer. It will not take much time. It is simple case of his cheating that any reasonable man can see. So immediately you can file criminal case. Third time Prabhupada is telling, file a criminal case. He has taken money, but he has not executed. So why you should be disappointed and afraid of him? Our position is very, very strong. We have paid money and we are in possession. So what remains for conveyance? As soon as you take money, the transaction is finished. You may take receipt or not. Otherwise, it is simply cheating. So find out a first-class lawyer and apply in the court that the purchase agreement is already done and get it done. That's all. He is simply bluffing. Sitting in Vrindavan, Srila Prabhupada is thinking and writing all these things. Right? So because Srila Prabhupada wanted to offer, Radha Ras Biharani, all of us, this wonderful palace. Right? Now you purchase that house on the 7th border line, repair it nicely, and you can live there for years if we have to. I think he, Ratna Parkhi, will take rupees 15,000 cash if you can persuade him. Or if he will not yield, you can pay him rupees 20,000 and finish the business. Enclosed, find the copy of one letter I have forwarded to Mr. and Mrs. Nair. You may further request them to come and see me here. It will be too difficult for me to come to Bombay at this time. Otherwise, I am coming to Bombay in December. If he wants to wait so long. Another thing is, I do not think it is necessary for Bhavananda to remain in Bombay for this business. Better if Karandar and Tamal Krishna tackle the matter cooperatively by applying their full attention. And Bhavananda may return to Calcutta for taking charge there as soon as possible. And 4 days later, on October 24th, after receiving our report, he wrote. So this is 1972, right? I think 1972, right? 1972. And this is October going on. So one thing is coming to my mind, that how Srila Prabhupada is transcendental. Because very recently, I was going through Srila Prabhupada's lectures on first canto, second chapter. And I was seeing that Srila Prabhupada has given lectures on all these shlokas of first canto, second chapter during the entire Kartik of 1972. And we know the Kartik of 1972 is famous for another series of lectures, that is... Okay. Loudly. Nectar of Devotion. So Srila Prabhupada has given in Kartik of 72 Nectar of Devotion series. We all know that. And I did not know this till recently, that first canto, second chapter, whole chapter Prabhupada is given one shloka lecture every day in this very important Kartik of 72. So we can imagine when Srila Prabhupada's mind is so much absorbed in these legal matters. Still Srila Prabhupada can speak every day classes on first canto, second chapter, which is one of the toughest chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam and the very core basis, foundation of Srimad Bhagavatam. To speak on that every day, and I went through many of lectures, around 10-15 lectures of that chapter, Srila Prabhupada's lectures. Such beautiful presentation, explanation of each word and each concept of that shlokas Prabhupada is presenting. And apart from that, Srila Prabhupada is giving NOD lectures also. Nectar of Devotion lectures also, world famous lectures of Srila Prabhupada. And still Srila Prabhupada can be so amazingly, transcendently empowered that he can fully put his brain in these legal matters and still do justice. Right? Yeah. So His Grace Devaki Nandan Prabhu is kindly reminding us, taking our mind to Sri Vrindavan Dham, Radha Damodar Temple. So Srila Prabhupada is telling all these lectures are happening in Radha Damodar Temple in the very simple, meager facility. Now we are sitting in this palace, so comfortably here. And Srila Prabhupada is sitting in that very simple facility in the Radha Damodar courtyard. You have seen those photos of Srila Prabhupada sitting and devotees fanning Prabhupada to, send away this, drive away this mosquito, fly. So you can just fathom Srila Prabhupada's transcendental position, that he can be like this also. And in the same days, he can be totally speaking on NOD and Bhagavatam first canto, second chapter, the toughest spiritual subjects. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. And 4 days later, on October 24th, after receiving our report, he wrote, "You think your position is rather hopeless? But I say that our position is very strong, just the opposite." Why you say hopeless? When Nair accepted 2 lakhs of rupees of ours, the terms of purchase are finished. Simply he has delayed to give us the papers. The transaction is finished when he accepts the money. So by tricks he is delaying. So why you are delaying to make case? Immediately make a criminal case. After the case is decided, he shall be forced to give us the conveyance. And within 1 year, after we shall give him the next installment of 2 lakhs. Because the transaction is finished, so we can legally occupy the land, all the land. It is not trespass when the transaction has been completed and Nair has accepted the terms of sale by accepting money. See, this is another very expert point which we can learn. One point only Srila Prabhupada has captured, that he has accepted the money. And on that one point only Srila Prabhupada is sticking. That on this one point he is defaulting. Bas. So we need not have a 10 point to prove him wrong. Just 1 point is enough. That he is defaulting and he should oblige now by giving the deed or whatever the document. If you are thinking hopeless, then how I can make you hopeful? Our point is, he has accepted the money. That means he has agreed to terms of sale. Take police precaution if he is threatening violence. We are in possession according to the terms of the agreement. Simply he has delayed the conveyance. Therefore I say that you boys cannot deal very well in these matters because you are too timid. Now whatever you like you may do. Immediately criminal case should be taken, but that you are not doing because he is bluffing you. So we can see Srila Prabhupada's glory, that with such timid boys, as Srila Prabhupada is telling for us, they are worshipable eternally. So with such timid boys also, Srila Prabhupada won this palace, created this. So what is Srila Prabhupada's power? You can imagine. Now whatever you like you may do. Immediately criminal case should be taken, but that you are not doing because he is bluffing you. He says big words and makes threats, and you believe him foolishly and do like he says. That I shall not do. When we have paid money, that means he has accepted. Immediately an application should be submitted to the magistrate that he has accepted the money and he has willfully delayed the conveyance on tricks. And he has threatened to drive away even by violence. What is this? And take police precaution that he is threatening us. Go to the magistrate and tell him we gave Nair money and now he is threatening violence to drive us away. We shall go to the court. There is no other way. Criminal court means complaint that we have given money, he has not given conveyance. He is threatening by force to drive us from the place. This is the only settlement possible, that he returns our rupees 2.7 lakhs immediately and we vacate. Or immediately file criminal case. There is no other alternative. We have finished the business. He is entrapped because he has received the money. Our boys do not understand. Anything, as soon as you receive money, the transaction is finished. And if even it is 6 months past, it is our option to resign, not his. Charity Commissioner has delayed. That is not very serious for disqualifying us. There is no time limit mentioned for getting permission from Charity Commissioner. Still, Try for the permission from Charity Commissioner as quickly as possible. Then we shall go on with the terms of the original agreement, either voluntarily or we shall have to force him through the courts. One thing is, you have said that we shall have to pay entire additional rupees 70,000 stamp duty. So does this mean we must pay only an additional 5% of rupees 70,000 or 3,500 rupees extra, or again pay 70,000 rupees plus 5%? That is not clear. In my opinion, if you apply a petition before the magistrate that Nair has taken the money, that he has not given the conveyance, playing tricks, and that now he is threatening by violence, such petition will clear everything. He is afraid of going to court. That is our favorable point. My clear-cut view is simply to present a petition to the magistrate. It costs only 12 annas, less than 1 rupee. This complaint should be submitted. Take a good criminal lawyer and file, then everything will be clear. So we can see Srila Prabhupada is telling practically every smallest detail that you should file a criminal case, file a petition with the magistrate, and I am telling you all the details, finally to the cost also. That just 75 पैसे लगेंगे ये फाइल करने के लिए, करो इसको. On Prabhupada's advice on November 2, considering Nair's violent, sinister threats, I had Manasvi lodge a complaint against him at the Santa Cruz police station. Of course, Nair never returned our money. So a week later, on November the 9th, I filed a criminal case against him in the magistrate's court in Bandra, in which I presented the history of not only his cheating, but also his violent threats, which themselves were criminal, citing the following instances. On September 4th, in a meeting in the office of his solicitor, Shiman Lal Shah, after expressing his intention to take back possession of the land, Nair had said that if we do not vacate, he could burn the whole place down. On October 17th, Bhavananda Karandar and I had met Nair at his home in the Theosophical colony Juhu, and he had been aggressive and hostile and called us trespassers and demanded that we restore possession to him. Otherwise, he said he would shoot every one of us. Although we had pleaded with him not to speak such violent words, he had persisted and appeared so intent on retaking possession that he seemed ready to go to any extent, lawful or not, to achieve his ends. And the following day, on October the 18th, again in Chiman Lal Shah's office, Nair had told Tamal Krishna Bhavananda Karandar and me that he had the ways and means to obtain possession of the land. Based on my presentation, the magistrate concluded, from the facts mentioned in the application, I am satisfied that there exists, within local limits of my jurisdiction, a dispute between the applicant and respondents 1 and 2, Mr. and Mrs. Nair, over the premises referred to in the application, which is likely to cause breach of the peace. I therefore direct the parties to appear before this court in person or by pleader on 1st of December 1972 and put in writing statements of their respective claims as regards the fact of actual possession of the subject of the dispute, and produce such documents or adduce by putting in affidavits the evidence of such persons as they rely upon in support of such claims. So finally magistrate accepted the case, it seems, and then he said, okay, we will meet for the hearing or whatever. But as Prabhupada had written, for all his bluster, Nair was afraid of going to the court, and a month later he met with Srila Prabhupada in Hyderabad. In the midst of all the battles and intrigues, Prabhupada encouraged me to maintain the standard of Krishna consciousness as the basis of our effort and eventual success. Wow. So, Srila Prabhupada is saying, so long the regulative principles are followed, he wrote, everything else will follow. So this is another beauty of Srila Prabhupada, how attentive and alert Srila Prabhupada is, that these 20s and 30s year-old boys, they may become too absorbed. They may not be like me, who can be so absorbed in these legal matters and still speak NOD and Bhagavatam. So their Krishna consciousness, their absorption in holy names, their absorption in Srimad Bhagavatam, their absorption in Krishna's selfless service may get, little disrupted or disturbed. So Srila Prabhupada is, cautioning them that amidst all of this, your standard of Krishna consciousness, that is morning program, evening program, and whole day actively engaging in serving Krishna and lovingly dealing with devotees selflessly. So this Krishna consciousness program, this will be the basis of our effort and our eventual success. So another time also we know when Srila Prabhupada was, I think, up in his rooms here. So one day evening when Srila Prabhupada heard that Kirtan is not going very attentively in the evening, and Srila Prabhupada asked His Grace Hari, the Haridas Thakur Prabhu, Hari Prabhu, Haridas Prabhu. And he did not know that actually devotees have gone to some well-wisher's house on their request for some Kirtan, something happened at their house. So he told Srila Prabhupada they have gone for fund collection. Then Srila Prabhupada was not very happy. And Srila Prabhupada told that no, our dependence is not on somebody's donation or funds. Our dependence is on Krishna's pleasure, Radha Rasa Bihari's pleasure. So when it is time for evening program, Sandhya Arati, and devotees should together be dancing and chanting for the pleasure of Krishna, and from that strength we will be able to spread and win any battle. So we can see repeatedly Srila Prabhupada will emphasize His Holiness Kavi Chandra Swami Maharaj in one of his Bhagavatam classes many years ago. He was telling that once when Srila Prabhupada was leaving one temple in the morning time, and he was very delayed for the Bhagavatam class, for the airport. Prabhupada was quite delayed now. He had to really rush. And with his frail body, Srila Prabhupada was stepping down very slowly. And devotees were, okay, waiting now. Whatever time will take, Srila Prabhupada will come. And when Srila Prabhupada was about to go into the car, so Srila Prabhupada took a right turn and went to the temple hall. And the devotees were thinking, Hare, where is Srila Prabhupada is going now? Every second counts and he is going for darshan of the Lord. And then, to their shocking surprise, Srila Prabhupada went and sat on the Vyasasana. They were shocked. Prabhupada is going to give now Bhagavatam class. And then Maharaj was telling, Srila Prabhupada sat on the Vyasasana and told and spoke Bhagavatam class, the shortest Bhagavatam class probably ever. And what Srila Prabhupada said? Srila Prabhupada said, please come to the Bhagavatam class every day. That's it. And then Prabhupada got up and then left. So then, so we understand the lesson which Srila Prabhupada is trying always throughout his life for all of us devotees to learn that our morning program is our strength. Mr. Nair had a cordial relationship with Shyam Sundar, and both he and his wife liked Shyam Sundar's wife. So I think now it is 8:50 and we have very senior Vaishnavas present here. So they may be, I'll request Prabhuji if they wish to add or comment something. So then let us leave some time for Prabhuji's. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण। जो नायर था उसने भक्तों को बहुत कष्ट दिया, श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी को भी कष्ट दिया। ये नायर मरने के बाद किधर गया? श्री प्रभुपाद जी ने उनके बारे में क्या कहा था?
This is a tough question. At that time, even I was not born. I was still in my previous life.
You go to hell. Okay.
So Prabhuji answered that Srila Prabhupada said he will go to hell. Okay, any other comments or Prabhuji would like?
So, similar thing what you told, you spoke in the class, that in Vrindavan, in 1977 May, month of May, Prabhupada was lying down in the evening. So, one Atul Krishna Goswami, from Radharaman temple, he just came to see him. Atul Krishna was a very famous person. He used to come here. We remember. Uh-huh. Mhm. So he's a very big Kathakar that time. So, so he, after discussion, he finally asked Prabhupada, after you leave, who will become your successor? So Prabhupada took it very seriously, and after he left, he called Gopal Krishna Maharaj, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, and another Maharaj. So he told that there is a conspiracy to take all our property, our temple, all our fame, name, fame, everything. There is a conspiracy is going on. So you are all children. You don't know what to do. Among all of you, only one person is intelligent. He said, Rameswar Prabhu. That time he was Maharaj. So he said he is very intelligent. So that day he told, call all the Giriraj Maharaj was there. He called all of them. He said, he must secure the property of ISKCON. So he drafted the bureau, like memorandum of association, and established the bureau. That day he called meeting, and he just make sure that there should be some proper organization to protect the property. You see, Prabhupada, how much efforts he did to establish this, not only this temple, all over world. And he has given his life for this. And it is the duty of all of us to protect whatever Prabhupada said, that I have given everything to you. Now you should maintain it properly. Even if you don't do more, at least maintain it properly. So this is the duty of all of us, how to, whatever he has given, we should maintain so nicely. Not only the building and other thing, the standard, the temple standard, what it was said that how all the programs in the temple, from morning program till all programs, and he specifically he told for the Bombay temple that he must distribute nice prasadam, and also the morning program. He said this is very, very, very important. If devotees will dance in front of deities, and it is a very prestigious, and everybody will attract to come. And also another thing I am forgetting, but many important instruction he has given. So at least our Bombay devotees, Juhu devotees, Giriraj Maharaj book, he mentioned everything. We should strictly follow. Like he said, following 4 regulatory principles. Following 4 regulatory principles is a very, very important thing. Because if you remain very Krishna consciousness, what is said, to do any work, any work you can perform if you follow 4 regulatory principles. So that is very important. We should learn from Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
So thank you to Prabhuji very much. for his kind-
Prabhupada emphasized a lot on morning and evening program. And he himself attended. For Sandhya Arati he used to come. He gave Bhagavad Gita class in Vrindavan himself. So he emphasized very much, and he did. Also Kirtan standard. Prabhupada was very particular. In morning time, we should sing the Hare Krishna Mahamantra only in morning rag. Once in Vrindavan, there was a devotee Ban Maharaj. He was the cook of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. So once he came and he was singing. And he was singing for a long time, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Prabhupada heard, and though the Harikesh Maharaj was his servant, he said, "Who is chanting this thing? Go and stop it." So Harikesh went and he saw that Bhakti Siddhanta Cook, who is well respected at Prabhupada, he came met Prabhupada many times. He also came here in Juhu. So he was singing. So Prabhupada said, no, Harikesh said, Prabhupada, he is singing. Prabhupada said, go and stop him. Prabhupada said, but he is your God brother. He said, so what? This is my temple. And in my temple, there will be only Hare Krishna Maha Mantra.
Hari Bol.
We are Hare Krishna wala. We are not a Hari Bol wala. So Prabhupada was very particular for everything, many small things. Morning and evening program, yes, that's life. Prabhupada not only spoke, he demonstrated. And he wrote to all the leaders, Yada Yada Acharati Shrestha. This is only one instruction that he has written by his own hand. That all the devotees connected to Krishna consciousness moment must attend morning and evening program. First one. Must follow 4 regulative principles. Must chant 16 rounds. Must read the book which I have translated. Earlier, we used to have opposite Bhakti Kala Kshetra 112 के पास एक जगह है तो used to be billboard there. I mean, we used to have anything or Prabhupada or anything Prabhupada, then we used to post it. There are glass case, and so this was a stick for a long time. So devotee coming, they can always read that. Maybe we should put again and give to all the council member and leader so they can remember and come to Bhagavatam class and other program also.
हरे कृष्णा। बहुत कठिनाई आने पर भी शिव प्रभुपाद जी धैर्य धारण करते हुए सब कठिनाई का सामना किए और हिम्मत हारे नहीं, और अंत में प्रभुपाद जी का विजय हुआ। तो भक्तों लोग को प्रेरणा लेना चाहिए, कठिनाई आने पर भी धैर्य से धैर्य छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए, हिम्मत नहीं छोड़नी चाहिए और छोड़ के भाग नहीं जाना चाहिए। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
भले गद्दा को मार डाले
आपकी कृपा है।
Any other devotees would like to?
हाँ, एक मिनट। एक समय हमारा थोड़ा माइंड फेडअप हो गया था, तो मैं बोला अभी मैं यहाँ से वृंदावन जाऊंगा, फिर अमेरिका चला जाऊंगा और फिर अब यहाँ से हमेशा के लिए चला जाता हूँ। तो पुजारी पर मुझे बोले कुछ भी तकलीफ हो मेरे पास आना, आप कहीं जाओ मत, और फिर रोका। हाँ, और निताई प्रभु भी एक बार छोड़ छाड़ के जा रहे थे, तो उनको भी ब्रजारी प्रभु समझा के लाया वापस। तो प्रभु जी कृपा है हम लोग के ऊपर, कोई भी तकलीफ हो तो समझते हैं।
His Grace हनुमान प्रभु जी की, His Grace ब्रजहरि प्रभु जी की, His Grace देवकी नंदन प्रभु की। प्रभु जी want to say something?
शिल प्रभुपाद चाहते थे कि सब लोग तो बताया, प्रभु जी ऐसे ही मुझे बोलने के लिए बोले हैं, लेकिन हमारा सब लोग का अगर मॉर्निंग साधना ठीक रहेगा तो हम सब लोग का मंदिर का जो प्रचार प्रसार ज्यादा बढ़ेगा। एक्चुअली ये मंदिर बहुत फेमस है, विशेष करके वो इवनिंग आरती में, संध्या आरती में लोग 4 बजे से लेकर आकर वेट करते थे इधर इवनिंग आरती देखने के लिए। पूरा बहुत मैंने इवनिंग कीर्तन इतना अट्रैक्टिव रहता था, उसमें कई लोग, मैं भी उसमें भी एक है, देख के हम भी आकृष्ट हुआ है। बहुत इवनिंग आरती होती है, बहुत बड़ा। तो ऐसा चलेगा तो अच्छा रहेगा और प्रभुपाद खुश रहेंगे और हम लोग भी खुश रहेंगे। हरे कृष्ण।
टेनेंट लोगों पर वो बदमाशी करते थे लड़के लोग, तो हम लोग संध्या आरती 7:30 तक, 7:30 हम निकल जाते थे और पूरा हरे कृष्ण परिक्रमा, और टेंट लोग घर के सामने जाकर के और निताई गौर हरि बोल हरे कृष्ण खूब गाते थे हम लोग. Prabhupada said, it is our duty to disturb the envious. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita ki. I'll build your temple, the Juhu story ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.